What's up YouTube, this is Collect Pokemon and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the Japanese McDonald's promos. And yes, I know there's going to be a lot of hatred for these videos. I know in the comment section, a lot of you guys will hate me for buying from the scalpers, for lining up multiple times, getting multiple copies, taking it away from kids, all these sort of stuff. I'm really used to these negative comments and that's totally fine with me. But I just want you guys to be nice to each other in the comment section. I don't want you guys to hate each other, argue with each other, because hey, you guys are just commenting for this video. So I've actually been to, so whenever I see something good, I oftentimes, just go and grab them. And a lot of the time people are saying, hey, you're scalping, these sort of stuff. Oh, back then the word scalping wasn't even there in Pokemon. When the Munch Pikachu was released in 2018, I simply flew over to Japan and paid for someone as well. I took my staff there, and basically we lined up multiple times. We got into the museum and we got a bunch of those promo cards. When Van Gogh Pikachu was released, I simply hired someone, I paid someone to go to the museum to grab a bunch of the Van Gogh Pikachu cards. So, those were hated. And this time when I saw this, I knew that it was going to be released on August 8th, and I was like, hey, you know what, I'm free. So I've decided to fly over with two of my colleagues and, and just grab some of these for myself. Am I flipping these? I'm not flipping these. I'll be holding on to it for a while. Eventually I would sell it off, but not at this point. But this is not that video. So this is the video just telling you guys, what I usually do. This is how I usually operate for these special sets that I deemed to be good. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I think it is good. That's number one. And what to look out for these kind of cards. I expected a lineup. I expected there would be a lot of people trying to buy these resellers when I first saw this listed on eBay for around $30 US. Because the Happy Meal is around $3 US. And when you have a 10 times free money, people are going to do it. Now I'm going to explain to you guys how people do it. Okay, so I flew over obviously and I bought the stuff that I could with my staff and things, but this is not how globally, this is not how the big bosses operate. You see listing with hundreds and 200 and 300 cards. So how it is operated, I'm going to tell you in this video. And then later on, I'm also going to tell you in this video what my thoughts are to these cards. Am I going to grade them? How are the qualities like? What to watch out for? And the potential scams that are happening around. So stay tuned and let me know in the comment section what you guys think. So let me first tell you how people can amass a lot of these Pikachu promo packs. So these Pikachu promo packs were given out for each McDonald's meals that you buy, Happy Meal that you buy. You can buy a limit of 5, but that so-called limit of 5 depends on where you are. I mean, there's no issue of you lining up multiple times or ordering multiple orders of 5. So what a lot of people do is they would go onto the McDonald's app and they would order multiple orders of 5 and so on. Now, sometimes the McDonald's apps stops you. Each account, once a order is in, you have to kind of wait for you to pick up the order before you can order it again. And then some people ordered it, opened different accounts, ordered multiple times and so on. Because, you don't really need much to open a McDonald's app account. All you have to do is just an email and basically you can attach your credit cards and you can directly pay. So, there were people lining up to pick up their McDonald's order with screenshots of different numbers, ticket numbers on their phone. So that is why there's a lot of people doing that. That's one thing. And at the beginning, it was quite disorganized, and you can actually order a lot of these on Uber Eats as well as something called Wolt, W-O-L-T. I think it's like one of those Grabs kind of app in Japan. And there's no limit to those. You could order 10, 15, 20, even 100. I mean, yeah. And you can order it in short consecutive time because, you know, it just depends on who's the Uber driver that picks it up. And so there were lines of people waiting to pick up their food for 3 hours, around 3 hours. All right, so 5:30 to around 9 a.m. You know, Uber driver was simply waiting to pick up orders for people. So there was a long line in a lot of the metropolitan areas, the larger carts, the larger McDonald's. So I knew this was going to happen. So that's why I chose Osaka, which is relatively large, but not as large as Tokyo. And I hope that, you know, there I could get a little bit more cards and so on. And I didn't want to go to other places like Fukuoka, which is a little too small and for the population size, and therefore there's not going to be enough McDonald's and so on. So that's why I chose a place with more McDonald's in general. And I saw that a lot of the people were focused in the Namba or the Yamada area in in Osaka. And the other McDonald's, you know, there were lines, but, you know, you could still order even after the line was gone, you know, so you could actually, you know, order 5, order 10, and then you could wait again. You don't have to wait, actually, you just have to wait for your food. And then you can just simply walk up to the machines, the kiosks, and order again. There was no line. So there were a lot of McDonald's that, you know, you can easily order them. You know, there was no lineup, there were no limits, and so on. But and that's why, you know, 2 hours or 3 hours after the release, the price of this card actually dropped. You know, it went from a selling price of around 1,500 yen in the secondary market to 1,300 yen, and later on to even 900 yen. So 900 to 1,000 yen. You know, people were selling it, but that was for a very, very short period of time. And then when things started to sell out at around 7:30, 8:30, the price starts to slowly climb up again. And then at the end of that day, I think we are seeing it at around 1,500 yen or so. And then guess what? America wakes up and then they realize that a lot of the orders got canceled. That pushes the price up even more. So the next day in Japan, because we know there were no more cards, and the Americans was like, I really want those, or the West was like, I really want those. People had to cancel order, buy back, blah, 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 blah. And so the buyback price shot back up to around 2,000 to 2,500 yen. And none of these were in a lot of card stores. So I've actually went to different card stores and I couldn't actually find them on the day. You know, people were holding on to it. And that's the thing. A lot of people will think that, hey, there's going to be a lot of them. But yes, but at the same time, a lot of people are holding on to it. They're not selling it. And that's why, you know, it doesn't matter whether there's 1 million, 1.8 million, which I don't believe there is that many. Yeah, that's that. Now, some guys I've met tried to ask the McDonald's staff, could they backdoor and just sell them the cards? And then they were like, no, you have to buy the meals. And, you know, that really tells you why there's such a big food waste problem going on, which is true. And yeah, that's that. So that's what had happened, if you guys were wondering. About buying backs, like why are people selling for like 10 copies, 100 copies, these sort of stuff? So how do they work? You know, why are people buying in the hundreds and thousands of copies? Now, many card stores in the West or even in Hong Kong, basically they take pre-orders. And when they take pre-orders, they ask people to source it for them. Now, you might be wondering, what about those Japanese sellers who have a lot of them? You know, how do they get them? Well, there's a bunch of people that you can pay. And basically, they are, you can take it as like their little organization or a WhatsApp group or whatever you like to call it. And basically, they will help you line up. And this is not new. You know, in Hong Kong and pretty much anywhere, you can actually pay people to line up. But in the East, in Asia, it's much more organized, right? You know, in the West, you can pay, you know, you know, I don't know, like a kid, you know, some neighbors next door, you can ask them, hey, you know, I'll give you 20 bucks, I'll give you $5 or something like that. Can you line up for me? You know, these sort of stuff. But in Asia, it's much more organized. So when it's much more organized, these are groups of hundreds and 200 people. You know, they can get some elderlies who wants extra money. You know, it's very normal. Or a exchange student who want extra money to just simply line up for them. And people are more than happy and more than willing to do that. And these organizers are usually of different races or of different ethnicity or nationality. A lot of people are saying that, hey, in Japan, it's the Hong Kong people, it's the Chinese people. Yes, there are a lot of Chinese organization lining up, but at the same time, we also know that there are a lot of Singaporean organization. There is also some Japanese organization. Yeah, I'm just calling them organization because, you know, they are revolving around this person, which you can contact and say, hey, I want to buy this. Or it doesn't have to be Pokemon card. It could be sneaker, it could be Labubus, you name it. Or even like Chikawa, you know, anything that needs lineup, just contact them. They'll find someone to line up. And then basically they'll say, hey, this is the price. You pay them that amount. And then if there is stock, they would give you them. If there's not, they'll refund you the money. So that's how it works. And so that was that, you know. That's why you see a lot of pictures of people or photograph of people walking up to someone and then giving them all the cards and then that guy giving them all the cash. And that's how things work. Sorry, that's how things work. So that's why people can accumulate such a large amount. Now, obviously, I did contact some of these, and you know, I did order some, and that's the way it is. Right? But these ones that you're seeing in front of me are the ones that I've gotten on my own, and that's why I have them physically here. You know, because those usually, you know, needs to be collected and then shipped and everything else. So that's going to be a risk on its own. Now, the second half of this video, I'm going to talk about the quality of the cards, and that's really important. Am I going to grade them? You know, I do plan to grade some of these, but I do plan to keep most of them sealed. And here's my rationale. So I've opened around 10, 11 copies of these, and I realized that the quality in terms of whether it can get a PSA 10 is very difficult. And, you know, I can show you some of these cards. Now, I forgot the order I put it in, but so here's the Pikachu promo. And basically, when you open the pack, there's two cards. The Pikachu's in the front, and the other Pokemon, the Railu, the Spagito, Quaxai, they will be at the back. Now, in the front, when you guys are buying these, you know, you see the front picture, it looks good. When you flip to the back, it does, you know, if you have a flat photo, it looks good. But when you take a deeper look at this card, you can see many of them having a very uneven cut. So that is usually the case if the knife is not sharp enough, or if you're cutting, or if you're producing a very thin sheet. Yeah, can you see? It's not smooth. So there is a chance that, you know, PSA becomes very harsh in grading these. So it really depends. So it doesn't look, so under some light, you guys can see, it's not exactly smooth. But, you know, if I take a flat photo, you'll be like, oh, that's not bad. Is that a white nick? That's pretty much it, all you'll see. And, you know, because I went to a few different McDonald's, so I don't, it might be in the same area, so it might be in the same batch. So I'm not 100% sure. But I think that, you know, the grade PSA 10 rate is not going to be as high as a lot of people expect. So you guys can see the cutting. It's not a whitening, but it's not like clean cut. And because of these, it might be actually very difficult. You know, you might actually get a 40%, 50% PSA 10 rate, which makes PSA 10 very expensive and PSA 9 not so expensive. So you can see the price difference between PSA 10 and PSA 9. And when that happens, it's gonna, give the perfect storm for this card to rise in price, because people are gonna be like, hey, the PSA 10 is worth so much, so I might as well buy the PSA 9. But if there's a lot of these PSA 9, it's gonna sound and feel like the evolutionary hollow Charizard, whereas the PSA 10 is super expensive, PSA 9 not that expensive, and so on. But what's interesting are these seal packs. There's a 50% or 40% chance that when you open this, you can get a PSA 10. And because of this, I think that a seal pack is going to be worth more than a PSA 9 because of the gamble. And because of that, I will definitely be keeping a bunch of these packs sealed until a much later time. But I'll grade some of them to see if I can add to my own Pikachu PSA 10 collections and so on. But yeah, that's something that you have to consider when you guys are buying these cards out in the open, out in the wild. Would you buy it would you buy a raw card if the quality of these are 50-50? And if people are selling these raw cards, usually these ones are what people deem to not be a PSA 10. So if they don't believe it's a PSA 10, they will sell it to you on eBay. And chances are when you get them, you'll get the card, but it's unlikely that it's going to be a PSA 10 quality. Or would you rather risk buying an entire pack and see how it goes? Now, obviously, if the price is the same, this one is a no-brainer because you actually get an extra card with it. But here's the thing. There has been a lot of repacks in a lot of these Pikachu promos or these packs. So there has already been videos showing how the pack is completely sealed, but when you open them, it is 2 random cards that are not any of these. So they've been repackaged, resealed, and there has been these sort of videos circulating around. That's number one. The second thing to consider is, I think the first thing to consider is mainly the repack issue. I was going to say something else, totally forgot, but that is something that you have to be wary of. And yes, sneaker dunk. So I've in my Discord channel, which you guys should join, a lot of people there are telling me that they've ordered a lot on Sneaker Dunk, and when Sneaker Dunk is doing its authentication to see if the things are genuine, it didn't pass the test. So and a lot of the orders would cancel because there is some issue with the packs or the orders they have dealt with. Now, whether those issues are that those are repacked, resealed package, or it was damaged, or some guys just randomly send a bunch of cards so that they don't have to send the real thing. I don't know, but that's what I've been hearing on Sneaker Dunk on my Discord channel. So it's going to be interesting once the dust settle to see where these cards go. There are PSA 10, there's PSA entrants of this card. So if you go into the PSA app, and you search this, it's already in their system. So that means that people are already grading them. So I would think that the price right now will hold at its current price. And once we see a PSA 10 hit the market, once we see that PSA 10 hit the market, it's going to be interesting to see how the price jump. Because a lot of people are going to grade these with the bulk, the $18.99 bulk, but then there will be some people who grade fast. For example, the $60, the $50, or even the new, $49.99, where you can list on eBay for auction, these sort of stuff. So we are, I think, by the end of next week, we're going to see listing of these, which will cause price to fluctuate and change a lot for these cards. So that's my thought. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Now, like I said, I'm not here to tell you whether to invest in these or not. The only reason why I find that this was investable, it was because it was really cheap. I could simply fly over there and grab some of these cards. But if it was $30 on eBay, would I have bought it? Maybe 1 or 2 copies for my own collection, and yeah, that's it. So that's that. Good luck out there. Let me know in the comment section whether you guys have been scammed, you've got them, or was canceled, or anything like that. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. This is Pokemon. Bye bye.